Hi, welcome to the latest version of the CX podcast. I'm Tom Kharchi, and I'm joined here by Owen Davies, who are going to talk about the latest and greatest in CX.
Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Owen Davies. I work closely with Tom in the Gamma Enterprise across public sector and enterprise customers. My speciality is Gamma's CCaaS or contact center as a service propositions.
Cool. So obviously we work quite closely together on a lot of things. We speak to a lot of customers. We learn about the different insights and the things that we're seeing in the market. What is it that you think really defines the hero narrative?
Well, I mean, we hear this quite a lot, and we hear about great epic stories of knights in shining armours in contact centres who deliver exceptional one-off pieces of customer service. But my worry with that hero sort of narrative is it's not repeatable and it's not consistent.
Yeah.
So across the board, your customers might be lucky to get that hero when they call in.
Yeah.
The next time they might not be so lucky, and they might get an inexperienced member of staff. So the consistency across the contact centre in terms of systems, agents' ability to deal with customer inquiries, it needs to be consistent. And the hero narrative really, I think, does it a disservice.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we also see that the said heroes always have the best interests at heart. But the difficulty is that when they go sort of Lone Ranger, go solo and try and do these things in isolation, then that information is commonly not shared, not retained, and not captured elsewhere, and meaning then it can't be forwarded and taken on to additional conversations with those agents. So what do you think we need to do to help support or adapt these hero narratives to be more successful in the future?
Well, I'm a big believer in that people are the main ingredient in any successful contact centre. You can use systems, and systems can help improve things, or can help reduce average hold time, or give the agents the right information to their fingertips. But you've got to make sure that those systems work. So adding systems for systems' sake is not going to help reduce the hero narrative or the reliance on those outstanding pieces of customer service. What you need is systems that provide that consistency across all of your agents.
Yeah.
So I think getting the systems right helps reduce the need for this knight in shining armour. Yeah,
for sure. And every time we've spoken to customers, existing and new customers alike, they often don't really know what their digital estate looks like. They're often really in the dark of what's hidden in those corners of the different digital tools in relation to CRMs, knowledge bases, or specific systems that their agents or their people working in the contact centre are actually using in isolation. And so when we sit down and look at them, they're actually using different tools and different programs that the business aren't aware that they are using or should be using, which means it takes away from the actual efficiency of the operation.
Mm-hmm.
So looking at that tech stack is really important for us, right?
Yeah.
So we look at the sort of vulnerable customers and how we support those in their actual queries, their issues, and really their tasks at hand that the agents looking to serve. How is it that you think like the knight in shining armour can be problematic to resolve in those?
So, I mean, again, we touched on it just, with the systems, and as you say, the ability to understand what all of your systems are and how they internetwork or integrate with each other. The view from 10,000 feet sometimes is useful. So sort of really zooming out and looking at what these systems are providing for us, how they interact with each other, and what benefit they bring. In terms of sort of vulnerable customers, it's really important that those systems provide up-to-date information, because, for example, if we were using speech, natural language understanding, so tell me why you're calling today, or what can we help you with today? These can produce intent that can be sent to the agent as in the form of a tag, as a visual aid, or an audible whisper that this is a vulnerable customer, and then the agent might need to deal with that customer contact in a different way. But that really relies on the information that's locked away in these systems and being able to access it.
Yeah.
So the intent might be there, but if we don't store that information and then are not able to access it every time that customer calls in, then the vulnerability tag is no good to us.
Yeah, and it's so important to make sure that there's continuity of data, information, personal information related to those end users. Because if they was called up in a second time or a third time where it's of a similar situation or a previous conversation, and they've not been assessed or been recognised as vulnerable, or even that previous information captured, that's going to disgruntle them further and might even make it harder for the agent to support them in the second and third time coming into the contact centre.
Exactly that. And it's not just for vulnerable customers. It might be for, it might be for VIP customers or customers who, spend a lot of money with you, or repeat customers, customers that you want to retain. And it's about this story so far, or the ability to bring full context for that customer contact into the agent, so that the agent has a full picture of all previous interaction history, previous orders. So that's relying on integration with maybe order management systems or SAP, or and then customer relationship CRM systems. Has this customer got any nuanced needs, or do they like to be dealt with in a certain way? All of that information can help the agent form a very quick picture of who they're speaking to and personalise that interaction.
Yeah,
and it will help, hopefully, to resolve the query much quicker.
Yeah, exactly. And it's an interesting topic, really, when you dig into that, because if you think about what often we talk about as first contact resolution, trying to solve that query or the customer's question, insight request the first time, that might not always be the right approach for some industries or for some sectors because of the vulnerability, because of actually they want a little bit more of a personalised care and assistance. So if you're looking at vulnerable customers, or even looking at VIP customers, they may want to have that as a more elongated process, or a grander, longer conversation where it might not be a let's try and solve this right now. It's something they might need to come back to and say, okay, we'll check in with you again in a week, or we'll come back to you in a couple of days when we talk about some of the opportunities that we've looked to assess in relation to maybe it's continued sales process, or checking on someone's health and well-being. So it's a balance between using technology in the right way, but actually trying to think of what's the best way to serve our customers based on our industry, based on the approach that we want to take as a brand to our customers.
Yeah, and I think that sometimes technology can get in the way, and a lot of organisations that we talk to perhaps don't take that sort of zoomed out view. I'm a great believer in starting at the end and working backwards. So understanding what your goals are and what is your vision for customer experience in your business. If you can visualize that and document it and then work backwards from that, it's a lot easier to start from the end than it is to start from the beginning, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So you need to always have sight of what it is that you're trying to achieve, rather than trying to add sticking plasters or systems or adding additional channels to solve problems in the here and now. You need to have that longer term strategy, I think. And I think that's really where us as Gamma try to help our customers to take that longer term view.
Yeah, definitely. And you'll have heard me say this before, and I've said it many times when we talk about the house analogy from software as a service, and especially in the contact center. Contact centers customers, one, need to really know their house, know their own house before they look to adapt it and evolve it. So, what's the current state of play in the contact center? What's the technology look like? But also, then I also use the approach of knowing sort of the 3 C's of the customers. So one, they need to learn their first customer being the first C. So who is the business? Who is that logo? What are they trying to achieve in their year 2, year 3 growth aspirations? The second C being their customer internally. So the contact center agents, the supervisors, the managers, people that are working around using that tool, understanding what's the way that they work, how do they actually use the tool, how do they use the solution. Then learning about their third customer, the third C, actually the people calling into the contact center. So knowing their house is really important to say, okay, how do we solve the problems and the pains that we're having through technology? And this hero landscape is really important to understand that, because it means that we can shape actually the success for adoption of the contact center and the technology?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And everyone's started to talk about AI now and how AI can perhaps help us with some of this. It's not the silver bullet. I think AI can give us a lot of great information to help us improve and assist our agents. It can do a lot of the heavy lifting in terms of analytics. Mm-hmm. So when we're looking at reasons for contact and frequency of contact and reason for contact, these are things that AI can analyze really well. But I think we just need to be a little bit careful with it in the way it really scores is helping the agents get the information they need to resolve customer queries quickly and efficiently without the need for multiple contacts to the same organisation. Yeah,
definitely. And AI is such a fresh, young topic in the wide world, in many sectors and many industries. So it's interesting that you came on to that. The questions I get asked a lot is, one, where do we see it playing and working in the space that we work in? Mm-hmm. But also, how successful has it been? Do we have any examples of that? Where do you see currently AI, Gen AI, and automation is being used in the business and in the technology that we're looking to support?
As I said previously, I think it's there to act as to augment rather than to instruct. So I think if agents use it as a co-pilot, it can help improve that consistency across the board, because all agents then should be with the assistance of AI should be able to provide a consistent message to all of their customers. It can help with governance to ensure that agents are saying the right things, or if there are scripts or regulatory requirements for them to mention certain things at the start of the conversation. It can ensure that we cover the governance. And then in the background, I think, and this is where you'll really help most organisations, and this is where I see most benefit from it at the moment, is in the analytics and really doing some of that sort of deep level, low level reporting, and really getting into the nitty gritty of why people are contacting us, whether or not the outcome was successful, and whether there's a better way to do it, whether or not we can improve that interaction history, the way that our customers are interacting with us based on metrics and real-time information.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. So I think to try and conclude and wrap up, I'd love to hear your view on this, but from a transition to transform strategy for the hero narrative, if you were to try and nail down the 3 key points that you would advise or say to your customers to focus on, mm-hmm. and we've said a few of those already, what would those 3 quick points be?
I think we've touched on them a couple of times. I think my mantra is think big, start small. So look at the things that you can change immediately to give you the most benefit straight away. Mm-hmm. Don't try and boil the ocean.
Yeah.
Have that long-term strategy. So, working backwards, have that long-term strategy and start at the end, not at the beginning. I think this is a journey that most organisations need to go on. We can't transition into the cloud and solve all our problems in a rapid space of time. What we can do is start the journey and work towards that vision iteratively in small chunks to really sort of improve and experiment along the way, rather than a big bang approach, which is how perhaps things have been done in the past.
Thanks for your time today, Owen. That's been great. We've had some great points in relation to CX, that hero narrative, AI, and the technology that we look at. All of that is covered in the CX report. So if you're interested in that, click the link below where you can find out more information and learn about more what we do here at Gamma in relation to supporting our customers and their CX journeys.